I'm Teakisi, and I am the founder of Teakisi, a community interest organization based in the Northeast. I love empowering women, especially African women, and I thought it would be a good idea if I would bring some of you to join me in this chat and just talk about anything and everything that impacts our life. I'm going to kick off by asking how many of you had stepped into this building before? The reason why I'm asking is that there are a lot of spaces that as women or as members of the community or as African women we feel we do not fit in. What made you come here?
We're having a presentation in September, so just came to have a look at the building.
What I'm hearing is that it's because you were meant to come here. You're meant to come to see something. You're meant to be here, basically.
Yeah.
But at any other time, would any of you have thought, "Oh my God, that's a beautiful building. I'll go and have a look. What it's all about?"
No. I mean, it's interesting, but it's also sad how you look at a building. It's beautiful, but in your head you feel like, because the building is all that, you're already excluded from using the building just because of your race. You know, you already feel like you wouldn't be accepted, your presence wouldn't be accepted.
The building intimidates you.
I'm not sure if it's intimidating, but maybe that's not the word I'm looking for. But you just feel that you wouldn't be accepted in this space. It's the acceptance of it, and I don't know why. Perhaps I need to question that, because when you were asking that question, that was one of the things that came to me.
My studio is next to a Sainsbury's, and when I go to my studio, I'm not dressed up. My hair's tied up in a bun or in a scarf or whatever, wearing my real rags. And I went into Sainsbury's. And I always go into Sainsbury's to get a snack or something. And I went into Sainsbury's and I couldn't find, they had changed it. I couldn't find where they put the oat milk. I kept walking, and then the security guard, she kept following me.
Yes.
Every time I turned, she was there. And I'll go to the next aisle and she was there. And I was thinking to myself, why are you following me? And then I realized that I probably look like I could steal. Which is
But
sad.
do you think that behavior is just like they react like that just towards you because you're black and dressed like that, or other white people as well? They have to be in that. They have to be feeling it. It can't just be something.
My daughter will go to a shop with her friends, mainly white. There's her and a black boy. The security guards follow my daughter and the black boy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
They don't follow the white friends. They're
I've said to my daughter, because now when you go to the shops, you can say you don't want a receipt, and I've said to her, take the receipt.
Yes.
Because you have to remember.
Yes, that color.
Yeah, you have to remember.
I'm so happy you said that. Every time I went to the store and the machine would say, "Do you want receipt?" I actually literally speak back to the machine. I go, "I'm a black woman. I need my receipt."
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Our African cultures do not really empower or encourage us to talk about mental health. Anything to do with up here,
It's
basically, it's madness. Yes. I've always shared, and you can find blogs a blog that I wrote about my own mental health difficulty. This happened after I had my child, my son. It's postnatal depression.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest with you, I had never ever heard of that in my life.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Never came across it until I was going through it. But that does not mean my mom, my grandparents, my aunties, my family members never experienced that. They did. It's just that it's just on a hush. You never know. There were incidents. Like, I recall there are times where a relative had a baby and you're like, "Oh, we're going to go and pay them a visit," kind of thing. And they're like, "Oh, they're not available." Where are they? They've gone and they've sent them like to some village somewhere. They're no longer accessible like in the city or in their homes because it's seen as almost like shameful.
Yeah.
You know, the society's saying, "Oh, they're mad, they're this." So my postnatal depression was so bad, it was actually psychotic. I was that close either to taking my own life and the life of my son. Let me tell my family, you know.
Yeah.
I would just tell them for support, and guess what they were telling me? Please do not shame us.
No.
You cannot shame us. You have to, whatever it is, hold
Deal
it.
with it.
Just deal with it. We do, you know, we are okay with it, with our in-laws. Everything is fine. What are you doing? What is this business of? No one listened. But it's not because, I know in hindsight, I look back and think, it's not because they didn't care about me. It's the society that they were a bit afraid to be judged.
The
Everybody was-
way they have been socialized.
Exactly.
Mental health was
With
something
mental-
that people don't talk about.
Yeah.
It's not acceptable to have, you know, any problem of that sort.
And I think it's just that being a confident black woman.
But I think the issue is now, I think we're at that era where we're trying to change a lot of wrongs that were done. So as much as a lot of us super confident women have been able to use our scars and turn, you know, the ashes into our beauty, not everyone has that support system. Not everyone has that dad they want to look up to. Or not everyone has that, that emotional strength. So we need society to not force everyone to have a thick skin. So I think we're trying to have this conversation for the future generation that don't have the mindset of make lemonade with lemon. It was good. I love that I had to go through all these things. It made me who I am. It made my art more beautiful, my spoken word deeper. It made me more creative. It made me who and I love it. But not everyone in my situation would have taken the negatives and made it a positive.
So if would you want your child?
And not exactly. So we are building a story. So I don't want my daughter to be fighting about her skin. I want her to be fighting about how difficult math is in school. Leave that battle
And maybe
and
thinking
fight
about
some. I feel like
thinking about other things to do with lemon and not lemonade.
It's not lemonade. Like if we break that barrier, then the conversations we're having in the future will be more progressive ones, more important ones, ones that will make us go farther. Like for instance, I've been able to complete my degree, complete my professional degree, get my ACCA, and then walk into a multinational firm and, you know, get all of that before my 30s. Now my daughter or my son can build on top of that. They don't have to ever feel like they cannot work in this kind of firm because mom's already done it, so they can go forward from that. So that's not that all those bad things didn't make us more spicy, more interesting, more, you know, more sexy or whatever. Is that yes, it was good, but it shouldn't be a necessary evil. Let's get rid of it so we can focus on what really matters, what our white colleagues are not focusing on.
I'm going to start with my personal views. Is that education within our community is overrated. Number two, the education system doesn't do us much good because it doesn't embrace a lot of our background. So we need to bust that myth that a university degree makes us or makes you who you are. There's creativity, there is invention, innovation. There's so many things that can actually stand you out. When they say some kids are not achieving, I always challenge the school. Well, what do you mean by not achieving? What is your standard for measuring that? Are you saying because they don't know maths, they can't do art?
Can I the counter view?
Yeah.
Okay, so yes, the education that you go for, the learning that you go for should be suited to what you want to do. So why go to the university to do something where you don't need a degree to do it? However, I think there's a big problem, and it's a problem within our communities. It's actually a problem in the northeast, in that children do not think that that is for them. That is for people who are different to them. That is for people who are better than them. I couldn't possibly achieve that I couldn't be an engineer, I couldn't be an architect, I couldn't be, because they don't believe that's for them, and they don't believe it's for them because they don't see it. But if we do not say to our children, you can be anything that you want to be, and if you want, that's it. Well, not even that. As long as you're happy. But if you want to be a hairdresser, fantastic.
Yeah.
But equally, you could run the country. You could be the medical director of a large teaching trust. You can do whatever you want to be. You tell me what you want, what you really want, not what you think I want to say, and not what people are telling you you're allowed to do.
That's
What do you really want, and then we'll help you get there.
When we are born, our parents have got expectations. Society have got expectations. We end up confused. We want to please our parents. So you end up spending years doing effect finding with your own life, not knowing how to go about going deep inside yourself and identifying who you are, what you really want, what makes you thrive, not what makes other people happy.
There has to be something. After all these things, the juggling of jobs, the motherhood, the raising children, the careers, the what? How do you let your hair down?
I'm happy that you've picked this topic, this letting your hair down, which is unwinding, as you mentioned. It's also part of self-care, which we talk about so often. It's also part of work-life balance, which is very, very important. It's also a causation of stress, which is a killer. It's also a causation of anxiety and depression.
Knowing who you are as an African woman in the position that you're in, what would you tell your 15-year-old self? So I'm going to go around the table. Yeah? Shumba.
My 15-year-old self, I would just say, Shumba, be who you are, be what you want to be, and in public, be yourself. Don't put on any mask because it's very energy draining. Remember yourself. Remember you've got so much, as Rebecca said, you've got so much potential, so much energy. The world is your oyster. Just be, do, have. That's very important. And don't listen to society. Remember that there are always people that are out there ready to judge you, ready to give you some negative comments. But remember that you also have been gifted beyond measure by different gifts, different skills by the universe.
The sky is the limit.
Steph.
I think to remember the 8-year-old that you were and keep on being her.
Richard?
I would say don't listen to the naysayers.
No, don't.
Yes, Queen. Yes.
My 15-year-old self, I think I would say that I wouldn't want to change anything about my life, because if I remove any of my equation, I won't be in this room today. So I would continue to embrace my journey as I go.
For me, my 15-year-old self, I would say it's okay to be who you are. You know, negatives, positives, whatever it is, it's okay.